Hey guys, it's Phaedra from All Things Phaedra, and I'm not bringing you a regular car review. I'm here to talk to you about the cars of Finland and maybe a little bit of Estonia, because if you don't get a chance to travel too often, you may not get a chance to see what else is out there and what other countries are driving. I want to start by talking about what I am driving. So this is a rental car, and we asked for, I think, a standard station wagon, maybe a large station wagon. Anyway, like, station wagons are the thing here. We did see a few SUVs on the road, mainly Volvos, but most people here are driving wagons. So even though I have kind of declared myself a non-wagon girl, we did rent the Opel Insignia. Now, if that doesn't sound familiar to you, this is a General Motors brand, and the Opel Insignia equates to the Buick Regal wagon, which was briefly in the US, and it was much maligned by me. I will say that, because I don't like wagons. And I have to say, I think this trip maybe has changed my mind, because this wagon's kind of cool. Now, let me show you the other cars I saw in Finland. Some cool, some not so cool, and plenty that I think you'll recognize in some way, shape, or form. Let me start with the roads of Finland, and I want to call attention especially to these traffic lights. They're red right now. They're going to turn yellow just before they turn green. I love that. You might see some cars already that you recognize and some weird cars you don't recognize. But it wasn't until I saw this Renault Megane that I said, oh, this is a car opportunity. So the Megane is actually a compact 5-door hatchback designed for families. I also saw the Renault Clio, which is a super mini car, more common in Europe than, say, the Chevy Tahoe, which was sort of like a fish out of water. I did see other American brands like the Ford Focus C-Max, known as the C-Max in the US, and no longer actually available. By far the most common cars I saw on the road were Volvo and Volkswagen. Here's a beautiful VW Taigo, a subcompact crossover based on the Polo. And here's a Polo, a super mini car, actually the first European car that I drove. And then the VW Caddy, a panel van and leisure activity van, also sold as the Ford Tornado Connect. Sound familiar? I had to do a double take when I saw this. This is indeed the VW id.buzz. I actually stopped, drove back around the block so I could get a picture of this. And while we're talking about VW, we got to talk about Skøda, a Czech car company owned by VW. This is the Skoda Octavia. They make both sedans and wagons. Oh, there's a Honda CR-V that we snuck in there. And next up is the Skoda Karoq, a small but popular SUV. And if you look, maybe, okay, tell my husband to get out of the way. Here's the back of the Skoda. And then if we look across the street, there is a Polestar in the wild. Sticking with Skoda, we're going to go next to this cute thing, the Skoda Yeti Greenline, a compact crossover SUV that was made from 2009 to 2017. A cool car, but low on performance. Sticking with the VW family, here's an Audi, but this is an Audi A1, which I saw in Porvoo. And according to Car and Driver, this is not available in the US because Americans don't buy small luxury cars. And speaking of luxury models we don't see in the US for brands we're familiar with, this is the Mercedes-Benz B250E, all electric based on the CLA and GLA platform, sold only briefly in the US, now replaced by the EQ class. Then, I love this. This is called the CLA wagon, or what they call a shooting brake. I don't really understand how that translates to wagon, but it's pretty. And here's another brand that we're familiar with. It is the Nissan Qashqai, a name that originated in Brazil, but it's better known to Americans as the Rogue. And here's Toyota. You know this one, right? This is the Toyota Corolla hatchback, but it's a hybrid. The Toyota CHR, but it's a hybrid. Then there's the Toyota Verso, sometimes called the Toyota Corolla Verso, made between 2009 and 2018. It's considered an MPV, multi-purpose vehicle. I say we should bring that back. As well as this is the Toyota Yaris Verso, a mini MPV made from 1999 to 2005. Fun fact, in Japan it's known as the Toyota Fun Cargo. And then here's a rarity, an old car. I spotted an old Toyota Corolla. Now, here's another brand we know, Hyundai. This is the Hyundai H1 VS, known elsewhere around the world as the StarX, the iLoad, the iMax, the i800. It's available as both a passenger van and a cargo van. I think this one is probably first generation. Next is the Hyundai i20. This is a super mini hatchback. That's why we don't see it. Super mini, we're not into that. Introduced in 2008, but not produced for Europe until 2020. Now meet the Dacia Duster, which looks a little bit like a Jeep Renegade to me. This is made jointly by Renault and Dacia, a Romanian company, which explains why I saw so many when I was in Romania. It actually gets pretty good reviews. And the Peugeot 5008, a 7-seater, which is large by European standards, considered a mid-size crossover, and there was rumor that Peugeot was coming to the US, but Stellantis said, not so, my friend. I feel like I found a unicorn with this one. This is the Seat Me electric car, a tiny little thing with a range of up to 162 miles. It's actually a rebadged version of the Volkswagen Up, and it's been discontinued, but the Up lives on. Winner of the least attractive car is the Citroën C3, a super mini but forgettable car. At least this one is, which I estimate to be first generation, maybe from around 2002. Now, I couldn't let you leave without a glimpse inside the Opel Insignia. While I'm walking down there, let me tell you that they don't use salt on the roads, they use gravel, so you'll find gravel everywhere. And in case you're wondering, the driver sits on the left and everybody drives on the right. It was a nicely appointed interior, really comfortable to drive, and we drove a lot, and really good performance. Now, one final funny note. You see this sign right here? We saw it all over the place, and at first I thought it meant like no bats or something crazy like that. It actually means no studded tires, which was fine until the day we left and we realized, oh, we have studded tires. So, did you see anything you liked, anything you've seen before, anything you haven't seen before? Tell me what you think about the cars of Finland and some of the driving situations. Some of it honestly just makes more sense, and I wouldn't be sad if some of these made their way to the United States. So, thanks for joining me. Be safe driving, and I will see you next time.